All right, so we have a special guest on the show today, Mitch Marner. Thanks for joining us, Mitch.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so congrats on officially becoming an Olympian. Can you take us through the moment that you got the call from Hockey Canada? What was that like?
Yeah, it was pretty special. We had an afternoon game that day, and I was just kind of waking up from sleeping, and saw I had a missed call from Dubas, and I called him back, and obviously he just kind of gave me the news right before the game, and yeah, it was pretty special. And my wife was already downstairs with her son. Um, yeah, got out of the shower, kind of changed into my clothes, get ready for the game, came down here, hung out for a little bit, and told my wife the news. And obviously we were both very excited and ecstatic to go over to Milan and be a part of Canada.
Yeah, and the Four Nations Faceoff was really the first kind of taste of that best on best hockey that we've had in a long time. First of all, that game against the US, just knowing, how big that moment was for the whole country, everything that was on the line going into overtime. Can you just kind of take us inside what that was like to, be in the locker room and then be on the bench as well?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of different emotions. Excited, nervous, anxious. In the same moment, not wanting to be the one out there that results in something going the wrong way, and the other part of it is wanting to be on the ice to get the result that you want. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different emotions, but I think we had an experienced group. We had some older guys that talking through the break of going into overtime, just the calmness and just the belief amongst the guys. So yeah, it was like I said, a lot of different emotions going on through I think all of us, but just a lot of excitement. I mean, we had a lot of faith and trust in that group and that team, and it didn't matter who was on the ice. We trusted them.
Yeah, so of course you were on the ice for that overtime game winner. So we have to ask you about that pass to Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've watched it back, a million times, just like the rest of us. What was going through your head on that play?
Yeah. That was pretty crazy. I mean, we kind of won the face-off. Something kind of quickly happened there, and then it got to Makar, and Makar and I had this honestly like quick moment of like eye to eye, and I don't know, it was like kind of odd because obviously the game is played so fast, but in that moment it seemed like it was just like still and nothing was going on. And like I said, we caught an eye to eye moment. I kind of went into the far corner, and Kale kind of stepped across the blue line and rimmed it hard around. And then, I just try to work on a lot of different handles throughout the summertime of picking up pucks in different areas and trying to be quick with it on and off my stick and making plays with it. And, in that moment, I just tried to get my butt against the wall and line my feet up how I do kind of at home and my practice sessions. And, yeah, luckily enough, it came off perfectly off my skate right to my tape, and just tried to draw guys towards me. Luckily enough, I was able to do so, and Connor found some great quiet ice there in the middle, and just had to put it on his tape, and obviously he did the rest of the work. So, yeah, it was a pretty special moment to be a part of.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you got to play alongside Sidney Crosby at the Four Nations Face-Off as well. And Mitch, you were just talking about where you were when he scored that big goal in 2010. To be then, on the bench with this guy and just practicing with him and being able to soak up everything that Sidney Crosby knows. What was that like, and what did you learn from him?
Yeah, pretty special. I've been fortunate enough to do some summer skates with him, and some weekends with him where you can just sit there and watch what he does, and just his work ethic, his his effort he puts into everything is just high end. And I mean, the craziest thing about it is just how awesome of a human being he is. He's so kind. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. He's the most kind human being of all time. So it takes a lot of time out of his day to try to make others happy. And obviously he's got a lot of requests on his plate, and he's always looking to try to help out anyone he can. So yeah, it's pretty special to be a part of a team that he's on. And like I said, I mean, a lot of us grew up watching '87, so yeah, it's a pretty special moment.
We talk a lot about, Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby and, Macklin Celebrini and guys like that. Is there anyone on this roster who you think is a bit underrated, who we don't really talk about enough?
Well, I train a lot with Anthony Sorelli, and I got a lot of love for him. Just to our years together. We grew up kind of in the same neighborhood in Vaughan, and he grinded AA for quite a bit of years, and played AAA, got drafted to the Oshawa Generals, kind of took off from there to just be an unbelievable two-way player. And now last 10 or 11 summers we've trained together and done a lot of stuff together. So I got a lot of appreciation for his game, just how hard he works on both sides of the puck. I think he's got a lot of underrated skill that not a lot of people give him granted for. So I got a lot of love for I call him Tony, and he's a hell of a guy. He comes in every single day with a great mindset and attitude, and someone I've enjoyed being around in the last couple summers.
Yeah, and as you think back to those days, when you're running outside the house after Sid scores the goal and you're celebrating the gold medal, like now you have the chance to be one of those guys. How much does that mean to you? And where would that rank, I guess, among your career highlights if you were to bring a gold medal home from Italy?
I think it's got to rank one. So, I'm always the guy that tries not to look too far ahead. I just want to be in the moment and take it on as it comes. So, we got a long road ahead of us. There's going to be a lot of great teams that we're going to have to go through and play against. So, every team will be ready to play us. That's one thing you got to know for sure. So, we got to be ready to match a lot of energy, a lot of games, and make sure we're putting our best foot forward too.
Yeah, and I know you've signed on with Nulo, and that your dog Zeus is a part of that campaign. And we've seen you in a lot of different campaigns over the years, but this might be the first time that we've seen Zeus in kind of his own campaign and having his own bit of a spotlight. First of all, what makes him special, and what made you want to highlight him? Oh, there he is, right there.
Yeah, there he is in the back. There's his name. We got a part of the campaign. It's called Fuel Incredible. I think a lot of athletes that are on Team Canada have pets and rely on them in a way of after a hard day of training or, an unsuccessful day of competing. You go back to that same moment of just sitting on the couch with your dog and enjoying, just the time you have with them, because they don't have a clue. I think they feel your energy of how you're feeling, but obviously they don't know really what's going on in your day-to-day life outside of the house. So, I share a lot of love with them, and that's why we want to give him the best food possible.
That's great. Thanks so much, Mitch. It's been great to have you. Thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck in Italy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.